and welcome to the 12th episode of the
Yep, we just have to double check to make sure that we are on
I'm going to write a little list of numbers and like, tick them off as we go, so I never have to do that little just want to again apologise, it was totally me this time about missing last week's. Me and Dad went in for surgery and had a few minor complications afterwards, so I had to be on a bit of standby and was dealing with a lot of things around that, so we unfortunately couldn't do last week, but going to try and get a bit
more regular,
better, or at least update people, because I must admit I'm been a bit terrible at that as well.
It's been difficult, isn't it? Life gets in the way, mate, doesn't it? Life gets in the way. So how was your dad, alright?
Yeah, he's alright now. Good. He's sorted all the little bits. It sounds like he's just got a bit of dry eye, so a few more drops in his eyes, which is the thing is, because he's got Parkinson's and that, it's like obviously affects your muscles and all stuff like that. Like putting the drops in that is such a nightmare, and he's not like, when he's not stressed, he's like totally fine, like you wouldn't know he's got any issues, but when he gets a bit stressed, like he gets a bit confused, and trying to like put the eye drops in sometimes, so we'll literally go, open your eyes, and he'll open his mouth. We're like, Dad. But he's getting there, bless him. It's considering how much he's I think I probably got the fear from him, but like me and him both like hate people going near our eyes, so, and he really hates it because of something that happened when he was a kid. So the fact that he's even letting us do drops in his eyes and stuff, it's almost miraculous. So
that's
fair
like
play to him.
Contact lenses. People who wear contact lenses. I couldn't ever do that. The thought of putting something there.
No, I did it once and I did absolutely hate it. I did get a bit used to it, but I did absolutely hate it. But so it's been 2 weeks. How are you doing?
Yeah, not bad, bad, mate. Yeah, a little bit sleep deprived. I jinxed it. Someone said to me yesterday about, how's Frankie sleeping? I was like, yeah, she's really good. And then she decided that she was just going to kick off all night last night, which was good fun. But yeah, good, mate, good.
Yeah.
Just weeks just disappear, mate. Like it's February already, and it's
honestly scary. Isn't it? I was saying to somebody yesterday, like Christmas literally feels like about 2 weeks ago to me, like genuinely.
Yeah,
like, I can picture it like it was yesterday. It's crazy.
Yeah. But even like last Christmas, like doesn't feel like over a year ago. Do you know what I mean?
No,
It's just scary how quick time goes.
It gets worse as you get older.
Well, I guess I keep getting told, yeah. Obviously, being the ripe old age of 32 now, it's you can probably actually hear Frankie kicking off in the background. He might have picked it up.
Yeah, I thought she was bringing us to come on the podcast. So it made more sense.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, but good. Just plodding along, mate, and trying to take each day as it comes.
Yeah, how's your mental health been? You seem a little. I don't want to.
Not too bad. Like I think I had a bit of my own fault, like a bit of a rough few days last week because I ran out of medication and then forgot to put my prescription in, and then by the time you put it in and pick it up, it had been like a week. And I can definitely tell when I've not taken it, if that makes sense. Like I just feel a bit more run down. I don't sleep as well, and because I don't sleep as well, I'm not as that's the word I'm looking for. Like with it the next day, I'm a bit grouchy and. So that, but I am really bad at that. Like instead of just putting it in like routine, I just forget, and then next thing you know, you had a week and you've not taken anything, Other than that, mate, I'm alright. Yeah, just work. I just try to take a bit of a different approach this year. Of like, I said, do you know what? It's a job. I'm there for 8 hours, and I'll do what I can do and go home again.
Yeah,
and try not to, as best I can, let it stress me out.
Yeah.
That's again easier said than done. I do find myself some days like, effing and blinding about the place, but you just keep on going.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, not doing too bad, mate. Not doing too bad. I think the only thing that's been a bit different with me recently, because it's not something I usually struggle with, because in general I'm feeling alright, but is anger. Like it sounds really weird, but I've just been getting like spikes of like being just really angry, and it doesn't even like seem to take a lot. Yeah, I know it's weird. It does sound a bit like, because genuinely I deal with stuff in different ways, but yeah, I've just been feeling where things before would maybe just annoy me a little bit, but I'd just pass it off, or maybe I'd take it a bit more internal and turn it into like anxiety in some ways. You know what I mean? Or like now this recently it's sort of been channeled as a bit of like anger, and I'm not used to it because I've never really been like a person who gets angry at
you're a bit like one of them guys on the news who just turns up one day with a machete and like starts butchering us all up.
Well, hopefully not. We'll see how it goes, but
that's different.
It is strange.
Yeah, because I wouldn't describe you as an angry person.
No. Then again, I have this since the 30th of January been doing no alcohol and only water, tea and coffee.
Okay.
And a gluten-free diet on the recommendations of the doctor. So maybe
that's potentially.
Because I can't have a can of Monster, I'm just getting angry.
Maybe.
No, but I think it's just sometimes it's strange when you don't often have like an emotion like anger come up and then all of a sudden you notice it. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I do have it, sometimes you're in the car, I'll be pissed off and angry at people, or like playing video games like FIFA. If I get angry, fine, but now it's like normal situations where I'd usually just feel a bit anxious or like down about a situation. It's actually just been fueling a little bit of anger, like injustices and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes I watch the news and if there was like an injustice on there, I'd actually just get more like sad. But now I'm just feeling this little bit of like, it's just a bit strange. So I'm just sort of dealing with that at the minute. Sure. But I almost find it. Sorry, I was going to say I almost find it like a little bit of. It's going to sound really weird, but like trying to look at it in like a fun way sometimes. Though, so looking at like the emotion or the like mental issue as like a separate entity. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So instead of me being like I'm angry, I'm looking like right, I'm feeling anger at the minute. Like what could be causing this? What is a good way you can channel it? Because some people like you imagine people like Mike Tyson probably. I mean, I don't know much about him, but I would imagine he probably had a lot of that when he was younger and channeled it through. So I'm just what way is going to channel it more positive? Not at all at the minute. I'm still working on that.
Okay, fair enough.
But yeah.
Do you think? And again, you don't have to go too much into it. Do you think a lot of it stems from potentially your dad not being very well lately?
That's a good point.
A lot going on at home. You've obviously said about, and you must feel. Well, I don't want to speak for you, but potentially a lot of pressure on you to be there for your mum and your dad.
Yeah, no, to be fair, I never actually correlated it with that. Maybe because I feel like it. Yeah, no, I suppose it did happen around. So it could well be that. Yeah.
Just obviously, and I know you put a lot of pressure on yourself to, as well as work full time, be there for your parents as much as you can. So.
Yeah, I suppose it could be a little bit of that. I think what I find strange is, like I say, it's just how it's like. Usually that would just make me sad, if anything. Like I'll be looking at my dad in pain, and it'd be like, oh, I feel so sad for him, as opposed to being like, oh, why is this happening to us? Like I feel like, I just feel a bit. I suppose it's just a bit of feeling a bit hard done by the minute. But I suppose it's natural. I just think it's strange because it's not me. Do you know what I mean? It's like if I suddenly started being really hyper. Although to be fair, I do get that. But you know what I mean? It's like. It's a different mental thing but like I say, I'm trying to just play with it, which I think is quite a good way of doing it. Just
try and work out a solution. Almost.
Yeah, like it's a separate part of me, not me. Do you know what I mean? So I think sometimes when we it's like with depression and stuff. Like if you're saying the words like I think we spoke about this before, but I'm depressed. It's like you're kind of saying that's your whole identity, as opposed to saying I've got a bit of depression or I'm suffering from depression. And I think I'm just trying to do that with it, so it's good. It's
and you've recognised it, which is good. Also, how about the CBT? Are you still?
It's all finished now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I don't know if some of the things I just spoke about, like the recognising it, came from the last couple of sessions, because I think that we maybe touched on that. Maybe this hasn't been some big insight that's just come into my brain. Maybe I think we might have touched on that. I can't actually remember. But no, it's all done now. And I think I mentioned it before, but I'm sort of toying with the idea of maybe carrying on in some form, like maybe paid if I can, because I don't know if I can do it through the NHS anymore. But think about continuing it, because I think it's really helped.
Yeah, I mean, I've done it before, and I recommend everyone at some point in their life to go and have some sort of counselling. Therapy, CBT, because it's it definitely helped me. Even though this is for me a form of therapy. Cause it just, people listening to this probably thinking, what you two?
What they don't realise is we are both laying on couches.
There's no camera this week. We're both sat on our boxes laying on. But I find I suppose again, something we've touched on, like talking about it does help, and as much as again people don't want to probably talk about their depression. I mean, I think actually I heard something on BBC News one day in the week, Thursday night maybe, where they said like 76% of people still think mental health is a taboo subject, and you're just like, I knew it would be high, but like that is like
that's crazy, isn't it,
ridiculous
really?
High. So I do find like this, this helps. And I found CBT and counselling and all that helps. I definitely recommend it to people.
Yeah, and I think when you talk to people, or even like if you like talk to yourself, or in forms like journaling, or maybe people that do like solo podcasts, it's like when you're laying it out there, you're kind of figuring out as you're saying it as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not just listening to you, like you're not solving my problems necessarily, and I'm not solving yours. It's more like as we're speaking to it, it's opening channels, and we're like thinking more about stuff as we're speaking it. So we learn more about ourselves and how to deal with stuff as we're speaking. I think that's why journaling is good, because it's the same thing, isn't it, really? It's like just word talking on paper. It's a way of figuring it out.
And that's what one of my CBTs is. When we talked about the overthinking, and again we've touched on this before, like have I done this, have I done that, have I upset this person, or worried about something at work, or everything else, and I say something like, just write it down. Write down what it is that you're worried about, and then write down what it is that's got you to this situation. And once you write stuff down, and then you sort of have a moment to look back on it, you sort of go, right. And I do find even that helps. Or something will pop into my head like middle of the night, just write it in your phone. And look at it the next day and go, okay, like.
And I think as well, it's like it's kind of like what we were just saying a minute ago. It's like separates it a bit, because if you can write down like something you're going through on a piece of paper, you've got a. I know it sounds silly, but even though it's like a half a meter's distance, you've got a little bit of distance for it, so you can like look at it. In some ways, it's like a metaphor, but it's also. It
definitely helps, And even stuff like, I'd get stuff, I'd be laying in bed at night and I'd go, "This, oh my God, isn't it send that email?" And then you have this complete panic, and then you just think, I'd be like then trying to like waking up like 3 a.m, like try and get my laptop and send it, and you're just like, that's ridiculous, right? So just write down, what's the worst case scenario, or you don't send this email, or even. And I think I've touched on it before, I have keys to get into different sites. If I'm looking at site in the morning, I can be laid in bed at 11 o'clock. So I pull the van up in the morning and we'll leave the keys in the glove box for that site. Like I do it, probably shouldn't be saying on the podcast, but for the site. And I do it, the same thing every night. And when I put up outside, I look, right, they're there, and I close it. And every night, I still go back out to my van to check they're there. Sometimes it can be like 11, 12 o'clock at night, and Joe will go to me, alright, even if they're not there, what can you do about it now at 12 o'clock at night? No one you can ring, no one you can text, you can't do anything. But I won't be able to, if I don't go and check, even though I know they're there, if I don't go and check, I won't sleep. And that's just, and even now I do it, I've done it like Friday, and I'll probably end up doing the same thing again today, even though I know they're there, because I took them home Friday. I'll go out and I'll look at them and go, oh, no, they are still there. It's alright. Like, just...
It's not good, is it? No. It's almost, especially like you say, if they're not there, what can you do? It's like trying to control things you know you can't control.
But I do that a bit, I mean, I don't know if you ever watched, like, Friends, but that's a bit when Monica talks about, like, cleaning up the shoes, and I'll leave them till the morning. And, like, she's like, no, I can't get up and do it. Like... What's it? I'm not going to achieve anything, but I know, and I'll lay there and I'll be in bed and almost like trying to convince myself that I don't care. Like, keys are there, I don't care. I don't care. Like, I lean them back, and in my head I'm thinking, but what if they're not there? I don't care if they're not there. And I do it how they like to, and then it's like that. I'm going to play it cool. I don't care. I better go and check, and then I get up and go and check anyway. And it's like, what a point! Like just So I like and then I look at them and go, yeah, they are there. And I go back inside again, and Joe's just like, you're mad, they are, but like they're not like
there's nothing you can do.
Just
we just want to control the future a little bit, don't we? We want to have it all mapped out, so it's part of that whole process. I think.
And it's also like, I mean, I've touched on it before about an element of control, because I am like very routine, like get up at the same time every morning, leave for work at the same time, stop at the same garage to buy Lucasade. You know, everything is like really like routine. And I've said before, like one thing throws it out. You know, if I'm meant to have, for example, a meeting tomorrow at 11 o'clock, and then so it happens, and I've then got to be somewhere else that just completely throws me. Like completely throws me.
I'm a bit the same with like looking forward to things as well, because obviously we had that recently. Cause you had that gathering here that I couldn't attend, and it's like sometimes that even it's this contradiction me, because I say that I believe in like fate and karma and everything happens for a reason. Genuinely 100% do believe that. But at the same time, I get so disappointed if I've been looking forward to something that doesn't happen. It's that weird contradiction, isn't it? But I have that a lot with just looking forward to something that being, you know, not happening. It really bothers me and really throws me off. Sometimes for days. I mean, it did with not coming here, but I did cut it like as quick as I could, because I could recognise the downward spiral. You know, it started with, I was really looking forward to it, I was sit all and then I just thought, what is the point? Like, I'm not helping anyone. It's literally not helping. I'm not there. I can't be there. I was feeling so rough. Just be at home. Yeah, that's it. Stop it.
And we've plenty of time in the future to do stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's just
well, that's it as well, isn't it? It's like,
and it was like I said, mate, like it wasn't anything like. Well, like we had like a massive party, just something to eat. You know, I mean, I had one beer, which is unlike me. So
I know, I can believe it when you said that.
So yeah, like it was, and we're quite lucky. Like we get together quite regularly as a group. Like when I always do enjoy that, and then we've got. I don't know how you feel about talking about like an element of like. Not knowing or not being in control. So you've got Greg's stag do.
Yes.
4 weeks.
Yes, something like that.
Which is mad how quick that's come on, by the way.
Yeah.
But even that to a point, like and it was the same when I went to Nottingham last year. Like that bit of I'm going somewhere I don't know, and I don't know. Obviously, I know you, Greg, David, Jordan, a few others that are going to be there, but there's that element of going there and then. What if something goes wrong? So if I go out high and we're rushed and something goes wrong and whatever, I can just walk home. I know I am. Yeah. But I do struggle with that, and I know that I will. Like 2 or 3 days before that, I'll be thinking, what happens if something goes wrong? Like what happens if do you know what I mean? If I get separated or this and that. I think I touched on it on one before where I went to a stag do in Dublin. It's a few years ago now, and there was a massive group. There was like 20 of us, and I knew like a few lads, and I got separated and left with these lads who I didn't know, and it was awful. Like, I just sat, like, nothing against them, but the whole time I'm just like, I just want to go home. I just want to go back to the hotel because I don't know where I was. I don't know these people. Like that was literally like someone's put down my worst nightmare and just said like, there you go. And when I say it to people, they're like, I'd never have guessed, like,
because of how you are socially.
Just seem to be fine. Inside, I'm thinking, oh fuck.
But again, I suppose that's a control thing, isn't it? Because maybe when you're, you know, around people you're familiar with, even if new people come along, there's an element of control because you've got that safety. Yeah,
safety buffer.
Where when you're just out of
But it's but yeah, so that'll be. I mean, I'm really looking forward to it, but I know it will be like. I know on the Friday I'll be like
a bit before. But as soon as you get there, you'll probably fine.
It'll be good. But yeah, even with that, like, just sort of not like 4 weeks, and I'm thinking, I wonder how we're going to get there, and I wonder like how far away we are from the hotel to where we're doing this and doing that, and there's a bit of me that like. As soon as we get all the details, I will be on like Google Maps trying to work out if things go wrong, how quickly can I get back to like, almost like a safe place almost. You know?
I feel that though, like when going on holidays and stuff, I always like to work out exactly what like supermarkets and places are nearby, and like how far it is to stuff. And if I'm going on a walk, like when I go on holiday, I like to like try my hardest to map out, look all the reviews of the walk, like the trail, and see how difficult it is. I mean, really, I wish I could just kind of just go. And I mean, I think when I went Europe, I did that a tiny bit. Like I didn't have much of a plan. It was just kind of like go. But even though I did really enjoy it, there was a little bit of that, like, what if things go wrong? Like,
you are very good now. Even we've been to Budapest twice, Amsterdam 3 times.
Yeah.
And you are very good at almost like the tour guide. I actually think last time we went to Budapest, you turned around and said, actually, you know what, I'm not leading the way today.
Yeah.
And then we just stood there and stared at each other and we're like, but you always lead the way. Like,
but I think that's because like I probably do what you said, and because before, I mean, I could be wrong, but maybe before you like go, you think, I'm just going to have a wicked time. Where I am sitting there going, right, where are we going to go? What are we going to do? What if this goes wrong? What? Yeah, it's a bit crazy. And I suppose maybe some of that comes from like, you know, like I take my mum places, and because she's like doesn't go out a lot, like I really do have to try and find where we're going to go. And I try to like let her have a bit of choice, but there's also like I like to have a bit of backup, so if this restaurant's closed that she wants to go to, so maybe it's like that. I'm taking on that role with
maybe you're a bit like it's like the Sheldon degree, don't you? Do you watch Big Bang Theory?
You're right.
Like Tom can be Marge.
That's quite fitting.
But yeah, you do. You are the one. Like, I mean, I've got like I've touched on it before. Like, my sense of direction is like useless. I struggle to like find the end of a driveway without a sat nav. So,
sorry to kind of interrupt, but I was just thinking about it actually. Like, I remember a little while ago I said to somebody that I have this weird sense of like adventure and kind of like it when I get lost, and I was just thinking, do you think that could be like a relief thing? Because if you're so used to, like I do, like every little thing I do, like when I go away on trips and stuff, or like even just going like London, like you said, I like to have it real in place, like what train to get, and if I don't get that train, what's the next available train, so I'm not stumped. Maybe like when I do get lost, the reason I kind of have this, because most people freak out when they get lost, but I have this weird sense of like quite like this, like I don't actually know where I am. Like maybe it is like a little bit of relief because you're so tense, like being logical and planning effort. Maybe I just need to kidnap you one day, blindfold you and drop you off in the middle of nowhere. I think we said this before.
Yeah, and just leave you with a compass. I'm gonna leave you with a compass and Dean maze.
Just the compass.
You'd probably get chased by a big bird or something.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but again, I think like element of like control. Like, I hate being late. Like even for work, like if I'm going to be in at 7, I'm there at 7:15. If I'm going to be at 8, I'm there at 7:45. Like, I hate being late. Even with like when I was playing football, and I was very lucky. I was at a car show with Ebbo, and he's even worse than I am. Like we're meeting at like kicking off at 2:30, meeting at like 1 o'clock, and he'll be picking me up at like 12, and I'm like, we're only 20 minutes away, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're sat in the car for 40 minutes.
I did notice that, because when we go for food occasionally at the lakes, you and Tom get there like 45 minutes before everyone else.
And again, like Joe will say to me, what time did you table put? What do you mean at 5:30? And I'm leaving at like 4:45. She's like, you're only going to Ashton Lakes, it's 10 minutes down the road. I'm like, but you never know, like traffic. But it's still not.
But again, is that the control thing? Because you want to leave that buffer, that gap of time, just in case something goes wrong.
Yeah, even I play football on Monday night in Warns. We don't like kick off till like 6:45, and I leave here at like 6 o'clock. Like, it's not a 45-minute drive down. So then I sit in the car for half an hour, like, that's just shit. This is. But like again, just
in case.
Yeah, weird, isn't it? I hate being late as well, which being with Joe, she's never on time for anything. Now having a baby, it's even harder being on time. And I do. I mean, I even done that bit. You know, feel like you're telling to an old man. Like, I went and got a Frankie in the car the other day, and like was waiting for Joe. And I started bibbing the horn. I'm like, oh my god! Like, what am I doing? I'm turning to an old man, like trying to get her to hurry up. But yeah, I think it's a control thing. Like everything is like. I hate not knowing. Like some people can just not live for the moment, but not stressed. You know what I mean? But I need to know, like, even like viewing my payslip online, but I have to know. Like, I suppose like 3 days. Like some people will just wait for payday.
Because I always find it weird. There's people out there who don't. They literally go, "Oh, it's payday today." I didn't realise. What? I have it in my calendar, like every single month for the next 3 years. What day it's going to be? Yeah, I'm like, you don't know it's payday. I've been living off crackers for the last week because. But people do, and again, I'd love to have that bit where you're just like. And I try it. I go back to that like the keys and they're looking for the keys. I'm like, I don't care. But in my head, I'm thinking or someone will put it in the group. I'll pay this to come out today, and I thought I'll check that later. Yeah. And then like 10 seconds later, I'm not online looking. And I do admire people who can just
live for it.
Yeah.
Live for the moment, because I do need to know like what we're doing, where we're going, what time we're meeting. Like even with when we had people over, obviously you messaged, and we had a couple of other people pull out as well. And in my head it was like, it just threw me, do you know what I mean? I don't even know, and obviously I thought, you can't help being ill, the others couldn't help what was going on with them, but I was like, yeah, again, like just not, like, I don't even know how to describe it. I thought, and in the end I was like, do you know what, a bit like you said, like, it is what it is, like, it can't be helped, things happen. But yeah, maybe it's a bit of an OCD thing almost. Like,
yeah, I think it's just like a control thing, isn't it? It's like liking to plan for the future sort of thing when something throws it off. Yeah. I do totally get it. I think it's quite natural. I think our brains, like that's kind of our brain's job, isn't it? Really, like I think what do they say? Predict and protect. They say so. Our brain's literal whole pretty much. Yeah. Other than keeping everything else going and alive, it's like its main thing is to like predict and to protect us, and you know that can be against obviously literal things, lions, sharks, giant birds that chase you down mountains in Australia like Dean, and like mental things, you know, that's why you set yourself up for failure. Things sometimes it's like a protective mechanism, like if I think I'm not good enough, then when you tell me something that makes, you know, Wayne, you're not good enough, because I already think that, I imagine that's not going to hurt me as much. So it's like it's almost, you know,
I wouldn't ever say that to you, by the way.
No,
not when the microphone's turned on.
I was going to say, I've seen the text you've sent to other people that way.
Yeah, I think it is like an OCD thing. And I wonder, like, I suppose that is... I think if I could get control of, like, that part, I think everything else would probably balance itself out more. But I don't know. Like, even with all the, like, the CBT and everything, you know, they try and give you exercises and... to do, and but I just timekeeping's the biggest one for me. I do hate being late, and being a friend of you is very difficult sometimes because you're not the most punctual gentleman, are you?
I don't think I'm too bad. No, I think I'm a bit both, because sometimes like I've met you like at the latest 45 minutes early, and then sometimes I've been late. It's I think I'm a bit of both. I like to play it on the day. Like should I be late today? Should I be early?
My emotions, don't you? But and it was quite funny when you messaged. I mean, last time we went, but just before Christmas, weren't it? And you messaged like, oh, just so you guys know, like I'm here already, I've got to go shopping. And me and Tom, like, I would both. And it was like 45 minutes early.
Was that when I brought that giant canary hoodie onesie? And
did you take it back?
I did take it back.
Oh, that's disappointing.
It was an impulse buy that I regretted as soon as I left the store.
I do look at that and think, we are really sad. Like, it's just.
And I think as well, like for me, I mean, this might sound a bit, you know, whatever, but I think with me as well, like going early, so it's a little bit of excitement. Like, because we say a time like 5:30, but in my head I'm like, well, actually, I've got nothing planned from like 4 o'clock onwards. So like, I just think, well, I'll go a little bit early if someone's there, I get to see them a bit more. Do you know what I mean? It's like excitement. It's like I can't wait, so I'm just gonna go early.
And I kind of like, again, I hate like waiting around. So like, like when you leave today, like I've got to go to Asda and get a couple of bits, and we've got people coming over at 4 o'clock, and I am like a kid, I'll just be sat there like 3 hours yet.
Yeah, I do the same.
You know what I mean? And it is a little exciting, especially like since having Frankie, like not that we don't go out as much. I went out on Friday, I said to that quiz, I was like a big kid at work, going out tonight, like just looking forward to seeing people who don't need their nappies changing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
no, but I get it. That's why, again, I think like it affected me so much when I couldn't come here, is because all that week, or at least like 4 or 5 days before, I was just like, Saturday's gonna be wicked. Do you know what I mean? Like when I'm at work, I'm like, this is crap. But at least on Saturday, I got to go to Dean's, and I think I even said to you, like, because usually even if I'm going out somewhere, like I'll abuse my body, eat loads, drink loads, up until the point. But this time I so wanted to come and was so looking forward to it that I actually started eating healthy a few days before.
Maybe that's what made you poorly.
Maybe. Do you know what I actually think it was? I don't want to blame a certain somebody, but somebody at work, I went to get a sausage roll, a hot sausage roll thing from the rotisserie, and they were like, I wouldn't get that, because last time I had that I had the shits. So I was like, okay, I'll go and get this mozzarella and chicken sandwich from the food to go. Ate it, went home. Obviously that night I had really bad toilets, and this is really graphic. But that came out almost like undigested.
Oh, I didn't need to know.
So what I'm saying is that person, I think,
you got to call him out.
No, I can't.
You got to call him out. You go.
I can't. But yeah, they know who they are if they listen to it. So it's their fault.
Well, I mean, I didn't expect to be talking about your digestive system.
Yeah, sorry, folks. This podcast has really took a down turn.
You can tell we won't have stuff to talk about.
It's going to become a comedy podcast.
Yeah. But yeah, again, just with everything, I think it is a. I almost like, but again, I feel like control. I like organising stuff, if that makes sense as well.
Yeah.
Like
one of the funnest parts, isn't it?
Yeah, like having people around, like even like going out on Friday for the quiz, like inviting the people out, and I like that side of it.
Yeah.
But I think an element of control comes from it again, like when you messaged on the Saturday, wasn't it, morning, saying that you weren't well, so you wouldn't come in.
Yeah. And I think, for the evening, weren't it? It happened literally just an hour before. I
look back now and think, what an idiot, like, to myself, but I was like, oh, so now they're not coming, and then I was like, well, what happens if this happens? Like, well, we haven't got enough food, and because you build this thing, and then I'm like, what are you doing? Like, alright, Wayne's not coming, alright, so-and-so's not coming. I think what hit me more was that I got 2 messages in the space of about 35 seconds.
It was literally, I literally got off the toilet and saw the text.
I read it and I was like, oh, okay. I was like, they're definitely going out to you this morning.
No, I promise you we weren't. I would have had to wear a man nappy.
But yeah, I mean, but obviously we've gone completely off topic, talking about your digestive system. But would you say, would you say you're in a good place now?
Yeah, I think so. Like my circumstances from the last 10, 15, 20 years, apart from maybe being in and out of relationships and living situations, stuff have changed. I've not really had much drastically change, but I think I'm just getting better at recognising and just recognising and not judging myself. I think literally, and I'm not even exaggerating, but I think I've only just got a little bit of space away from that in the last maybe a few months, maybe you could stretch out, say the last year or so, where I just used to spend all my days just judging myself for being depressed and being anxious, and used to with you lot, as friends, I used to really get upset and stuff because I always thought that you lot thought I was too miserable. Even though I never used to talk about it, if that makes sense. I never used to openly be like, lads, I'm feeling a bit down today, but I'd and again, it's just banter, but sometimes people make jokes about me being like, oh, okay, here's the misog again, bringing everyone down, bloody wet fish and stuff. But it used to bother me. I used to feel that I was dragging the mood down a lot.
No, never.
And I've only just literally recently been this is me. Do you know what I mean? And openly talking about it, saying that those times when maybe you lot thought I was just being moody and stuff back in the day. No, actually, I was really anxious. Really, do you know what I mean? But I was never open back then. So I don't know if it's this that's helping, maybe. Yeah. But back in the day, I just used to feel like I was a burden to everyone. I really did.
You were never a burden.
Even though I weren't talking about it. Does that make sense?
You were never a burden. What I would say is, I think if I look at where you were, the first episode we done the podcast, you left that day and I thought, I'm worried about him. That's me being honest, because obviously what was going on with relationships at the time and whatever else, and you left that first time and you had a lot going on, and I thought, he's not in a good place, and what can we do to help him? I look at you now and it's night and day compared to where you were. I don't know if you noticed that in yourself, but I mean, when was the first one we done these? October?
Yeah, September, October, maybe, I think.
Yeah, I definitely night and day, mate. Completely.
And it's beautiful because at the time I absolutely would have said that it was a really bad point. If you really sat down and could sprinkle some honesty juice in me tea, I would have been I'm at one of the lowest points, which is weird because I've just come back from that trip and stuff, and I thought I should be really happy. that like relationship thing, I know I've not like really spoke about it in detail on here. At the time, again, like I blew it out way out of proportion, like everything that was going on. But I think it was just like that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Like I don't think like the person that I'm talking about, like they didn't do anything wrong really. They were like really nice to me. They're actually a really nice person. And we had like really nice times and everything. Like it honestly, it was just me. Like I can hold my hands up now and be like 100%. It was just pure me. And what it was is that it was just like it was almost like I was waiting for some little thing for me to have that like explosion of like I'm not okay. And I do feel really, really, really terrible for that person because I think I put them, even though it was a relatively short period, through a bit of absolute hell. Just because of how I was feeling at the time, which isn't right, but you know, I put my hands up and say that now. But I also think that like explosion and that like just ripping myself open and being like, oh my god, has really helped. Like since then, it's like, it's like before I was a certain way, then I hit that point where I was at my absolute lowest, had that moment of just like release, and now it's like I've let go of it and I'm back to being how I am now. So it's a positive thing.
I mean, even as like as with friends like me and I'm sure he won't mind that, me and Tom would speak and we'd say like we're knowing about Wayne, me as well, but even when doing this and even we both, well, you know, we all had struggles with our mental health, not knowing how to approach it because you
100%,
made it very clear that you didn't want to talk about it, and I always remember, again, I hope you don't mind me saying this,
no.
being down, I think we were down Spoons, and us asking you about it, and you, not rude, but quite bluntly, just like...
I think I remember.
What, there's nothing to say, and it was a bit of a... Okay, like, where do you go with that? Because if you... And I'm not going to sit and say you're wrong to do it, because I'm the same people, you know, Joe would say to me, I don't talk about it, so it's not a criticism, but as a friend looking at where you were, and me going... I want to help him, but I can't because he doesn't want to be helped almost.
I can literally picture it now, which means it must have imprinted in me as well, which means that I knew that I shouldn't have been acting like that at the time. But I was probably just scared.
But I think, and that's what I always like, I look at it, maybe we could have done more, like maybe pushed you to maybe talk, but then it was a difficult one because
if this is that thing, isn't it? It's like with especially, I say especially, but obviously this is only from my perception and experiences, but especially with men, like we just don't want to talk about it sometimes. It's so hard. Like all I probably want to do at that time was I'd probably like bawl my eyes out and just hug everybody, but you're not going to do that. I'm going to say, no, I'm alright lads, and I'm going to go home and be all upset. And
if you wouldn't do that now, mate, I love a hug.
Thanks,
so
mate.
I'm always up for that.
That's the thing, like, and that's the thing as well. It's like people think when they're and with all 100% good intentions, like this isn't a criticism, but they approach mental health sometimes as like a let's fix it. Do you know what I mean? Like we all do it. Like if you were like said to me now, like you've got an issue, I'll be going, shit, what can I do to help you? When really sometimes you just have to just be there. You don't even have to say anything, just listen, hug them, just literally be there. I
think that sometimes, you know what as well, like sometimes I think you just need to like, I cry, like I'm an emotional guy, like I wear like my heart on my sleeve, and I do, and I was like last week before, I just was driving home and thought I just feel like I can't, and nothing in particular, I just thought I could cry now and I don't know, and how random is that? And I was fine, and I was like, I can't even pin it on anything, but there was that bit where I thought I could just, but I think a lot of it comes from looking after myself like better, because I've stopped playing football on a Saturday and I'd missed quite a few weeks on a Monday, so I wasn't having that sort of release to go out and play football and eat, not, you know, I know there's nothing to me, but like even eating well, like I just was eating just shit like all the time, and then that makes you feel crap, and then like having like 2 or 3 beers on like a Tuesday watching the football, and then you wake up this day and you feel groggy, and I just sort of like I need to like help myself now, so stop drinking for the sake of drinking, start eating better, go back and start playing football, and straight away I felt an improvement. But you're right, it's to do with men. Like I think we are a group are probably better now. I still think there's a lot of work to do. Like I think if we went to TGI's or whatever, would we all sit around a table and say how we felt? Probably not.
No. And it's difficult because you'll have people there that want, I think this is going back to what I was saying earlier about me not wanting to feel like a burden with you lot back when I was like all down all the time. If you and 2 other people could be coming out thinking, right, really good night, have a massive laugh, listen, have jokes, bit of banter, and so I'll feel like, well, if you're in that mood, there's no way I can be like, lad, sorry, stop your partying. Can we talk about? You just feel like a burden, which is silly, but
then that's obviously why we're doing this, is to make it so it's not, people, one, don't think it's a burden, and 2, like if we went out and you sat down now in front of us all and said, look, now I need to talk to you. I know 100%.
Oh, no, no.
But you're right in terms of people don't want to. And again, it's just going back a couple of years now. Like I remember, I don't know if I've mentioned on the podcast before, like leaving home, playing a home game, so leaving here to go and play football, and I just cried all the way there. Got there, went to the toilet, one saw me, splashing cold water on my face, picked my bag on, and hey, all right, boys, how are we? And it's amazing. You don't know what people are going through. Do you know what I mean?
No,
like
100%.
You give that perception, and you get back in the car again, and you come home, and you're just like almost knackered from being someone else. If that makes sense.
I actually had this a little bit. I only just kind of remembered it. It's just a bit weird, but at work, about a week ago, maybe even a bit less actually, because some bloke, he was like, I would say Eastern European, but spoke pretty good English, but he had a twinge, a bit of an accent. Came up to me and was asking where something was, other end of the store, wanted a quiche. And when he was speaking to me, he was like, oh yeah, sorry, I really need to get it, I'm just feeling a bit meh. And now, of course, at the time, I thought he meant hungry. I thought, when sometimes you're in ets, you feel a bit, so I just naturally assumed he meant that. So I went and got it for him and left him, came back, was working again, he came back round, he was like, oh, cheers. So I was like, yeah, no problem, mate. And he started, he didn't say too much, but he just said, yeah, just going, through a rough time at the minute. I was like, oh, sorry, man, hope things get better and stuff. But I just thought, it's so, okay, maybe he didn't want to properly talk to me, but even him just saying that first bit, I didn't register that maybe that guy wanted to just have someone be like, yeah, hope you have a good day, you'll be alright, mate. You just don't think sometimes that's what people are trying to say.
And I always say as well, a good morning, a hello, a thank you, have a good day. Do you know what, and in the industry that I work in, you get certain people who look down their nose at you, or people who work with you or for you because of what you do, and I'm really blatant at it now. I held a door open the other day, and someone was and I went, "You're welcome."
Yeah.
I think it's just rudeness, but a thank you, have a good day, and I always say it, whether you're a cleaner or a CEO of a company, I will treat you the same, and people, you probably just did need like you said, have a good day. You know what I mean? And that probably, you doing that and having that 30-second chat with him,
you'd hope so.
Probably made his. Because
I mean, I've had it myself sometimes. I don't know if you have, when you're I've been really down, and it usually ends up some little lovely old lady somewhere. You'll just be walking past her in town, and just be like, "Morning, love," and it just, I don't know. It sometimes can literally just snap you out of it, because you're just like, "Oh, she didn't have to say that. She didn't have to be nice to me. She chose to," and it makes you feel a bit warm and fuzzy.
We all have bad days as well where we don't want to talk, and I've probably done it unintentionally, where you walk past and someone says morning and you sort of grunt and walk off. And then I look at it and go, and I've said about before, if I walk past someone and I think they're being off of me, almost doing a loop back around
just to double check.
Just check that things are okay. And again, that's an element of a control thing, do you know what I mean? I was sort of around in a big circle, you alright? Yeah, I'm okay, and then trot off again. But it is amazing how much I think that has a positive and a negative effect, and even with WhatsApp, we send messages and to everyone else, and sometimes you can read a message and you think, and Joe would look at me, she's like, I go, what's your problem? Nothing. She just came across really shitty in WhatsApp, and that's why I hate WhatsApp as well. I like messaging, because things can be lost in translation, can't they?
I think especially now with I notice this with smartwatches, because obviously a lot of people have quick replies on there sometimes, because I've had it before. I've messaged someone and they've been really blunt, and I've been like, oh man, and they'll be like, yeah, sorry, I was just replying from my phone. And you're like, so I didn't need to make up this massive scenario where you've hated me since.
Yeah, I know again, we've touched on it before, what I'm like with it. If I message you and you just whip it out, okay, and like my what I've said to you doesn't need any more of a reply than that.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, he's not happy with me.
Yeah.
Like what?
When in reality, I'm probably on the toilet.
Yeah.
Only using one hand, and I'm like, right,
Yeah.
the most I can text is okay because the other hand's somewhere else. Why have we gone back to my bowel movements? I'm so sorry.
But that's probably a good place to end on.
Dean's like, end it now.
End on your bounces.
No more shit talk.
But yeah, again, I mean, I know I keep on saying it. People might not do it, but I just go through your phone, contact one person and reach out because they probably might. And it goes back to what you said about someone saying morning, afternoon. Message someone that you don't speak to all the time. You're not just checking in.
Yeah.
And you know, they might look at it and go, oh wow, I've not spoken to him for a while, but they might be going through something. I do, you know, go through, drop them a message. Hi mate, how are you? You know,
you just let them know the door's open.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all we need as humans to hear, isn't it? Anyway, beautiful.
Yeah.
So we'll see you on episode
13.
You got it right.
There'll be no bowel movement chat this week.
No, definitely not. And again, if people want to send in messages or appear on the podcast, please feel free to get in touch with us on the socials, etc. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye bye.